Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I don't know if I'm shake tables or just pour all the drinks off. I don't know, but let's do it. Let's do it. Today we're applying P for pressure, okay? I feel like this is a vlog that a lot of ladies will resonate with because it really mostly applies to the ladies. So you're about 24, 25, thereabout, and you have not yet discussed anything to do with marriage with your parents or kids, and then your parents are starting to look at you with like, other people your age are doing massive things in society, inviting us to fantastic things like weddings. You, nothing. What's going on? And you know the thing about being from Africa is that we come from being raised as children. Like if you're a girl and they see you talking to a guy, you want to get spoiled. At this age, you want to get spoiled. And so you stop talking to boys. Then they drastically wake up from that to why have you not brought a man home? So I've always wanted to ask parents, so at what point in between did I date? When did I talk to the boys? When did I become their friend? So I think there'll be another vlog to just tell parents how to help us in that regard. But I wanted to talk to you about, you might be feeling like there's so much pressure against you to get married or to find someone or to settle down or to do something, and you also don't have the answers. I was there at some point. But here's my story. I was raised by a parent who never asked that stuff. Ati, where's a man? Why aren't you getting married? Why aren't you settling down? She never asked. But I asked myself. So I went into a career pacing until about 25 because I had a life plan. I said 25, work and have this much career growth. 26, start dating properly. 28, get married. By 30, close the chapter of children. I'm 34, I only have one child, so you can do the math. That never happened. So one time I turned at like 26 and I'm like, I'm not married and I'm not close to getting married. What's going on? And then the pressure just piled. Now you have your own pressure as a person. If you have siblings, family, you have that family pressure, parents directly, and then you have society. And then now for me, who's in the limelight, quote unquote, I also have, the blogs and the tabloids and everybody else talking about it. And then now, let me tell you that we have tabloids here who'd even put a category of beautiful but unmarried. And then they'd put a whole list of like 40 women in media who are beautiful but unmarried. And I'd always make it like number 15 for some reason. And then so you don't know how to then follow your goals and then also do this thing. I remember one of my cousins once said, but what are you doing with your life right now? And I said, I just went back to school because I'm trying to really master. She said, hold on. What man is going to take you with all this education? Like you realize that the society you're in, everybody left, right, center is telling you to dress a certain way so that a man can find you. Talk a certain way so that a man can find you. This is why you're not married. You're so outspoken, so confident. How is a man going to think he'll be the man in your home? Eish, you guys. So how did I do it? Now my story might not really help you, but hey, doesn't hurt. So anyway, I wake up at 28, not in a stable relationship, nowhere close to getting a ring on it, nowhere close, and I know some ladies will be saying, I also can put a ring on, it's okay, good for you. And I started to put pressure on myself. What that did is that I started to run away from family events and from friends who are married. You get to that point, ladies, where you actually don't like your married friends. Like you like her as your friend, but you don't like what she represents. She represents pressure for you. She represents the fact that she's always saying, my husband this, and then, my son this, then my husband was it. So I have to go and my husband, and you're like, by the way, please. So you don't hate her as a person, but she's representing something you don't have. And rather than have a conversation, which now if I would go back, I would probably sit with my married friends and ask them how do they figure out this is a relationship to go here? How do they turn the relationship from just dating to marriage? Like I would probably have asked them that. But anyways, when it failed for me to figure things out, here's where I went. I figured I might be the problem. Not in terms of finding a relationship, no, but understanding what I wanted. Because part of getting married or finding a relationship to settle in, and also you don't have to get married. Some people want to just, find a way to just settle and have kids. That's up to you. I didn't know what I wanted in a person. Forget the tall, dark, and handsome. Those are stories you read. I didn't really know what kind of values I wanted in a person. I didn't know what values I needed to have to get into a settled relationship. I just didn't know. So I embarked on a journey to understand myself. And that, when you're a young girl, also is coupled with the fact that you're probably in and out of relationships that are failing. You're trying this, trying that, it's not working. And so I decided to read books, resources, and do different things. In fact, I used to suggest this book called A Time to Be Alone by Slam Flower. And people used to think I was on about gibberish. And I told them, if you don't love yourself, if you don't accept yourself, if you don't understand yourself, friend, marriage is going to become a really huge challenge. It's already a challenge, but this time it'll be harder. Because let me tell you, that whole story they tell you about half and half, then you become one in a marriage, it's not there. You have to be a whole person who meets a whole person, and then you get into the marriage and you complement each other. So you have to walk your own journey of getting to know yourself. So if right now you're at a place where there's so much pressure for you to settle down, there are two people. There's a person in a relationship already. I would advise you to do this, and I did this when I was in a relationship. I told the person I was dating, listen, I am dating to settle down. As in, I'm ready to settle down. Not today, the 15th or the 5th or whatever, 6th of June, no. But as in, my point in life right now is that I'm dating to get to know a person to get married. It doesn't mean that's what you are going for. And if it's not what you're going for, feel free, tell me, okay, for me the truth is I was just blasting. I was hoping to blast until one day I figure out you're the one. And if that's the case, there's no reason to continue the relationship. And I know this is a hard thing for most girls because you're like, but if I need to go with this one, I'm not going to get this one. You will. Because you see, one of the problems with women is that when we're starting to date and we're ready to settle down, we assume that the partner we're currently dating also wants to settle down. Newsflash, no. And then when you're trying to mold them into that thing, it jams because they don't want. Then you start saying, I don't know what happened to me. Then you start to reduce your value to the fact that this person doesn't want to settle down. Stop forcing people. Honestly, stop. In fact, you'd rather walk away and start finding someone who will easily understand what you want. Because do you ever see that picture where you're dating a guy for 8 years and you're trying to force him to settle down and it's not working? And then he leaves you and in 6 months there's a wedding. And you're like, but was it me? The person didn't want to settle down with you but didn't have a way to tell you. So when you have that open conversation and tell someone, I'm dating to settle down. I'm dating to this race to end up here. Think on it if that's what you want. You're giving them a choice. If they're an honest person, man or woman, they'll tell you. Or they'll say, let's see. You know what I mean? Because the let's see was in my case. Now you're very. So the other thing that a lot of girls don't look into is who you would like to be when you get there. So a lot of you are aiming for the wedding, but not aiming for the marriage. Because the marriage is life itself, you understand? So if you don't know how to do life now as a single person, you certainly will not know how to do life as a married person. So rather than just sit there and wait for that big day so that everybody can clap for you, maybe work on yourself. Work to be the person we meet then. You know, so we don't start complaining that, oh my gosh, she's married, but it's like she hasn't realized she is. I think my friend Manuela and Brian were talking about how Manuela gave Brian an ultimatum. They're married. They've been married for like 10 years or 12 years. And she was saying that, man, decide. Do you want to live life as a married person or as a single person? But it's because some of you, instead of living your lives now as single people, you're running a race to get married. And then when you get married, you start to remember, hey, but I missed out on the other thing and I was so busy, so let me go back and circle back. And then you're having trouble in marriage. So live your life. Enjoy. As in, don't be there saying because you have pressure to get married, you can't do what you want to do. Get that best body that you want to get that job, get that career, get that money, sleep. Friend, live your life, okay? Enjoy it while you can as a single person. The other thing that I would want to tell you is that even in terms of planning, I know a lot of girls are told not to acquire as much wealth as you can because your husband will get that for you. It's okay, yeah. His money is your money when you get married. But it wouldn't hurt to have your own stash somewhere, to have your own cushion somewhere. And the best time to, have that happening is when you're single. So there's so much to do. In fact, you should be busy as a single person. You have things to do. Make that money, invest, buy that property, do everything that you need to do. Because then when you're married, there's so many dynamics that enter the finances that you won't have so much freedom on as a single person. So please, buy that building if you want to. The other thing is that most cases when our family members are asking us, when are you getting married, when are you getting married, we answer from frustration. Take it that they're not really asking because they hate you walking around alone. Take it that they're asking because they can't imagine what your life will be like, especially those who mean well. There are those who are just asking for the sake of asking, don't answer. But like if your mother or father ask, they're just genuinely concerned. It doesn't have to start having open conversations with your parents. Let me tell you this, if you start to sit down with your mom and your dad and ask them like what married life is like, what it takes to be that person, to prepare yourself, they'll start to realize that rather than just asking you when you're getting married, they have a chance and a role to now train you to be that person. So most cases when our parents ask you like, hey, let me dodge, let me hang up. No, sit them down and say, listen, I'd like to, but I currently need to understand what that will even mean, what that will look like, okay? The other thing, where are you going to look for this person? I have my EA, she's sitting somewhere at the back. And so I was telling her, like, where are you hanging? When you say there are no men to get married to, there are no good men, where are you hanging? Like, some of you believe, oh, because I'm going to church, of course I'll get a man in church. Or because I have this group of friends where I go, that's where I'll get. Or the workplace, and that's a small pool. And when that entire pool starts to get smaller, you'll start to get frustrated because you're like, everyone at work is married. So like, where am I going to get my person? I spend 90% of my time at work or at home. Start to expand. You know, this is where now the having a good time comes in. Man, go to every branch, but have a good time. Because as you're having a good time in these different places, you might meet someone interesting. And it doesn't mean that when you go to a club and meet a girl at the club, she ding, 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 that I won't say. Some of us are just there to have a good time, and we're great people that you'll get to know. So stop closing yourself into certain environments thinking that is where, like for me, I must get a man who's from church, from work, or from family gatherings, because then they are good, decent men. Girl, stop. All the wrong people are in church. Forgive me, Lord. But like those shady, shady chaps, fake it till you make it, are in church. Again, forgive me, Lord. But yeah, those brothers, Brother John, please, friend, no. Expand the places where you can actually get people. They're not so bad. Listen, bye.